suggestions.
Do you got enough beer?
2 should be plenty.
Okay. This is episode 40, isn't it? Big 4-0. All right, boys, episode 40. And I am playing Stat Boy tonight because I just felt like sitting in a different chair, and we wanted to put Stat Boy, giving you a moment in the sun. It's not technically the sun, it's the lights, but
it's pretty bright, though.
Yeah, it's
Here
bright.
I am.
I didn't think about that portion of this. You better be ready to Google
I
efficiently.
think I got enough battery life. I can handle this. Don't have a charger over here, so either way.
Mistake number 1.
Yeah, before we get started, I'm just not used to this job.
Nope.
Before we get started, reminder, go check us out on 3starrecruits.com for all your blogs, which we haven't written a lot of blogs. I'm like, I got to write a damn blog, and I haven't written one.
We'll get a few more out
The
there.
last blog I wrote, I roasted the Eagles, so I guess it still stands true. And I said they should play Hurts.
I don't even know what I wrote last.
Got some blogs on daily fantasy. That's technically weekly. 12 weeks in the season. I think I've cashed in 10. Some people have cashed 11. I think you cashed in the one that I didn't that 1 week. Basically,
9.
if you got into your lineups Sunday morning as opposed to Saturday night when I reserved them, those people cashed that week because for whatever reason.
Yeah, I broke even that week.
Yeah.
Oh, is that when you sent the text and you're like, get in right now for whatever game you're saying? Was that plus something? Talking about you sent a random text out of the blue. Was that this past week?
Oh, it might have been, because of the Bronco situation, Saints by a mile, but they took it off the board instantly.
Yeah.
That came off the books. So go check out the other podcast. I've been back on that grind, and I am just kicking college basketball in the dick right now. I'm like 9-1 on the season so far. I'm up like 8. Let's see here. I got
8.4.
8.4 units. It's stupid. I won again today. Dude. I didn't even have I'm so hot right now. I had the money line at the Texas game for today. I recorded last night. The line wasn't even out. I'm like, hey, I don't give a shit. Texas money line tomorrow, and they won.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to talk about that, though.
yeah, it's just sorry, man. I like it. All right.
Would you lose a bet or they play Carolina?
They play Carolina.
Like Carolina, yeah.
They
Gotcha.
They hit a bucket with like 0.1 left on the clock.
For the record, I'm not a bandwagoner. I've been a Texas fan for years. I've had nothing to root for. I've been
like
a Texas fan since high school.
Yeah. That's like a 10-point shot in Korea, though, right?
Yeah.
It's true.
So could have been worse.
Could have been worse. Yeah. 1-10, it all doesn't matter. You lost. So, did you ever look that up, by the way?
Stat Boy? I tied that into episode 3.
Callback. Expert callback.
Did you ever look that up?
No,
Korean Basketball League?
not the Korean basketball.
He
I know
looked
all
up
about
baseball.
Korean baseball.
You got to go basketball now.
North Korean Basketball League.
North, yeah. Make sure you go north.
Is it like a progressive scoring? Is that
Oh,
No.
we did a whole segment. It was like it literally was like episode
all right?
3.
Episode, I'll put it in my notes. I'll
Put in your notes.
We're going to
I'll
quiz
give a book report.
We're going to quiz them next week.
So, speaking of college basketball, before Adam hits us with some wisdom, he's got some good quotes for us over there. I texted Russ today and asked him to look up a certain somebody. I've been watching the Maui Invitational, which actually took place in Asheville, North Carolina, because they didn't travel. And it's been really fun to watch. It's been, in my opinion, not so fun to listen to because of one Bill Walton.
Come on.
This guy, and the weird part is like I texted him last night and said, I know there's a lot of people that don't like Dick Vitale. I don't dislike, I like Dickie V. But I know you don't like him?
No, not at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, listen to Bill Walton and then go listen to Dickie V and you're like, this guy's pretty good.
Yeah. You know,
I disagree, but
with what part?
with listening,
Okay.
I like Dickie V, but
You're-
I like listening to Walton.
Your Walton analysis is you think it's comical because it's like watching a train wreck.
Dude, it's
entertaining.
It's entertaining the entire time. You don't know what's coming. So let me give it to you guys right here. So first of all, the play-by-play guy, he deserves about $3 million a year for the 20 games he does with him. That's no joke. Yesterday, he's been having, because they're both doing it remote. They're announcing remote. So he has this like just ESPN college basketball curtain behind him. That's all it is. So he keeps talking. He talked for like the whole first game, because this is like the 4th or 5th game they've done together. He's like, oh, just out in my backyard camping. So this guy's wears tie-dye shirts all the time.
And he
Constantly.
was camping.
He was literally camping in his yard.
And I don't know if it's because he's a hardcore, like, hippie still.
Yeah.
Guy is stuck in the 80s. That's the best way in the 70s, 80s.
Very good basketball player.
But I don't know if it's because he is that, a hippie, or because they're sponsored by, like, Camp World.
Right. So, I don't know if he literally had two tents, and he was like, I'm camping in my yard. It's like him and his dog. Like, that's what he's. So, this is what he.
It's a true story.
So, the play-by-play guy goes, Bill, where are you? So, let me tell you. I'm in our solar system. I'm sitting atop a mountain on Mars, which is the largest mountain called Olympus Mons. The largest in our solar system. Not to be confused with Mount Mitchell, which is spectacular. Mount Mitchell has 19,000 species of fauna in Florida in it.
I would mute that motherfucker immediately.
Dude,
It's like this for 2 hours.
tell him the kicker about where the mountain is.
So Mount Mitchell, he says, oh, in Florida? It's in North Carolina. So I'm trying to look up all these stats. First of all, Mount Olympus Mons isn't even the largest mountain in our solar system.
You looked that up?
I did.
Holy shit. You want this chair?
So
Dude,
it's
so bad.
nonstop. And so I think he literally just does shrooms like all the time, like well known.
I hope he does.
He
I
does.
hope he's not like this
So,
naturally.
He said he's had a lot of, I think he called them fans. He's had a lot of fans asking, where do you get the shrooms in Asheville, North Carolina? He said, well, you got to go to the Shroom Club of Asheville. Great shrooms there. And he starts going through all these different mushrooms.
Maybe he knows something you don't know.
Dude, he's off the walls all the time.
Everything.
If he's ever on, you just got to sit there and listen because it's like,
I couldn't.
You have no idea where he
couldn't.
Stuck in the
It would get
70s.
annoying.
Stuck in the 70s. And if you listen to him call a game, he doesn't really pay attention to what's going on in the court. He doesn't talk about what's going on in the court.
Right.
But the other guy will mention, like, oh, we're here in Asheville. Or if you mention a player or this place, oh, I went there. I took a trip there one time with the wife, and it was. And then it turns into, like, I gotta look at a cardboard cutout of him from Maui last year every 5 minutes in the crowd. And then it's like, and I tweeted this yesterday. I'm like, is there some sort of, like, clause in his contract with ESPN that when he calls games, we got to go look at the Walton family album? Because, am I wrong?
Yeah, it's all the
flashback.
time.
I saw pictures of, like, Luke Walton, his kid, like, on a camping trip and, like, wherever.
Because they've done nothing productive since then.
Dude, it's unreal. There were just
Dude,
pictures of 70s and 80s.
I highly enjoy lissing to him just because it's off the walls, and obviously I can sit there and focus and watch the basketball game and know what's going on. Speaking of train wreck, today,
Oh, I got some from today, too.
he said the play-by-play guy, there was a foul in the basket. He goes, oh, and there's a train wreck because two players from Texas like ran into each other. He goes, have you ever been in a train wreck? It's not good. Just, dude, and
Guy's done it all. Just ask him.
Dude.
Or no, he'll just tell you.
You'd be like, oh, did you see that sandwich today? He'll be like, speaking of sandwiches, and he'll go on a 10-minute rant about
Dude,
something.
spot
He
on.
knows. I don't know where he gets all this stuff.
Dumbest
I don't know if
shit
he
in the
just
world.
reads, but it's crazy what he comes up with.
You're kind of selling me on this guy.
Dude, I'm telling you.
If I wanted-
next time he's always on like usually late at night because he's a big Pac-12 guy. So
Yeah.
he usually does the Pac-12 games. So he's
He
usually
doesn't
like
wake
10
up
or
till 5 p.m. Probably.
He lives in San Diego, went to UCLA. What does that tell you?
Yeah. So he doesn't come on usually till like 10 or 11, but he usually does the Maui Classic, so that's why he's on now during the day. But
Which is usually on the West Coast.
you guys will get a text next time he's on.
Which, by the way, that was, I don't know if he kept talking about this brewery, Wicked Weed.
Yeah.
Colton, if you're listening, that is your boy. He's friends
Yeah.
with the guy that owns Wicked Weed.
Yeah, there's a big sponsor too. There's
Yeah.
a big sponsor for the tournament.
Send
this
us some
week,
Wicked
so-
Weed to try. I know Stat Boy over here, he's drinking like, I'm not going to mention it, no free ads, but anyway, I have a couple Bill Walton quotes from today too. I was sitting in this chair over here, and I'm listening to the game. Kansas, I can't remember what game was on. Before the UNC game, so it was Stanford game.
Stanford game.
Indiana, okay?
Yep.
So he got talking about Kansas and UNC and said they both got off to a slow start and won comfortably. Kansas won by 3 and UNC won by 4 yesterday. Won comfortably.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
And then there was first half, 17:47 left in the first half. In the game, he said, this game is yet to be decided. There's a lot to play. Yeah. Yet to be decided. 2.5 minutes in.
Those kind of little quirky, not even factoids, but whatever, like those statements that I get that brings some comedy into the show.
I think he's
into
being serious.
Well, understood, but for me, that at least adds to the entertainment value.
Do you think they
the
have
bullshit about like
list
this
of that?
mountain and I don't know.
Like a list of just like, say this when your brain goes empty. Just read one of these.
Dude, the camera goes to him. He's like spaced out. He's like just looking around.
Yeah.
Dude, and he'll be yesterday. I think at one point, I think it was the Carolina game. He's talking, and they just cut to commercial. He was just in the middle of talking still because he won't stop. He just talk.
Yeah.
He'd be talking.
Let's hear that quote again. That's great.
I can't.
Come on.
Do it again.
I was hoping you'd just memorize it and ramble it off, and
Dude,
Ross would think it was yours.
I had half of it memorized, and I couldn't get it down.
All right, one more time.
I tried so hard since yesterday afternoon. I'm in our solar system. I'm sitting atop a mountain on Mars, which is the largest mountain called Olympus Mons, the largest mountain in our solar system. Not to be confused with Mount Mitchell, which is spectacular. Mount Mitchell has 19,000 species of fauna in Florida in it.
Your reaction the second time was the same as the first time.
Oh, I 100% believe that.
First of all, I had to look up fauna because I'm like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
What is fauna?
It's just an
Fauna
animal.
is animals, and flora
Yeah.
is plants.
It's plants, animals, anything living.
If I want to, my God.
Now you want to watch a game. Just
No, I actually don't. This makes me want to watch it less.
No,
I wanna know-
come on.
You're a
That would-
scientist.
that would annoy-
doesn't get you hype.
That would annoy the living shit out of me. I'd rather, you can watch Jeopardy for stuff like that.
I mean, that's how I get my Jeopardy knowledge. Listen to Bill Walton.
No, he's too extreme.
I
It
lost
annoys
brain
the shit
cells,
out of me.
but
Same with Dick Vitale.
He's lost a lot of brain cells himself, though.
The thing that annoyed me with Dick Vitale is he had an acronym for everything.
Oh, yeah.
But then he would explain the acronym every single time,
PTPer.
which defeats the purpose of an acronym. Yeah. It's awesome, baby. No, it's not. Shut the hell up.
I know what you're talking about because last night he was talking. He's like, "You gotta get me down there, baby. Give me some airtime, some AT."
He's too extreme. Too extreme.
So I'm trying to find. I had a couple tweets yesterday. I'm watching this. I'm like,
He's just
it's.
off the walls.
I can't even.
And the Pac-12 is always the Conference of Champions, just so you guys
Oh,
know.
I tweeted a video. Of this guy.
I think it was...
Yeah, because my first tweet was someone tell Bill Walton there's a basketball game going on and put the drugs down.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't even talking about the game.
So if you're a basketball player, a college basketball player, and you get caught with a couple joints on you, you're probably going to be suspended for 5 games, right? But they throw this guy on the air, and he's promoting where to buy mushrooms in the Carolinas.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey.
Hold on. I'm going to try to get this.
talk about a double standard,
Yeah.
I'm going to get us connected here. I'm going to play this.
and they're paying him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, he's getting that connected, but overall, college basketball's been there's been tremendous games going on. Carolina, Texas played today, 14 versus 17. It's a good game for the Maui title. We got Gonzaga, West Virginia on right now, which should be a good game. And then afterwards, I think we have Baylor and I'm blanking right now.
I'm not sure.
There's another top 10 matchup right after. And then obviously yesterday we had Conference of Champions with not Conference Tournament of Champions. Goddamn Walton. Duke, Michigan State winning that one.
He's got your brain in a blender.
Yeah, he
over
does. And then Kansas and Kentucky played also. So
I think I'm connected. Let's try this.
I am
Where?
I'm in our solar system,
There it is.
sitting atop a mountain on Mars, which is the largest mountain. It's called Olympus Mons. It's the largest mountain in our solar system.
So
Not
what?
to be
And his voice just pisses you off
not
more.
to be confused with Mount Mitchell, which is spectacular. Mount Mitchell has 19,000 species of fauna and flora on it, and it's just.
He sounds like he's got a mouthful of jizz when he talks.
Yeah, that's no, thank you.
come on.
You
That
don't
does
want
not-
some of that?
One time for me.
Whatever
Just one
he's
time.
taking, you don't want a little?
No, I don't. I don't want to sound like that big of a.
You want to camp in your backyard?
I'll camp in my
he-
backyard, sure, but I'm not going to
He's probably still camping in his
eat
backyard
every
right
mushroom
now.
I see. To me, that takes away from the enjoyment of watching basketball.
There was probably a game-winning shot during when that happened.
So this is what I'm talking about. I know Dickie V. Like I know you're one of those people. Like I don't like Dickie V. But after listening to that for like 4 hours yesterday ish,
Dickie V?
No, Bill Walton.
Yeah.
Then the game was on last night. Dickie V did it. He at least spends his time like talking about the players on the court, what they do. Shit like
I can't stand Dickie V, but if I had to choose between the two, I would watch a game with Dickie V announcing it over this
100%.
space cadet bullshit. Baylor plays Illinois, by the way.
All right. Oh yeah, there we go. Top 5 matchup.
All right. We can move on from the Stone Age, no pun intended. Thanks. I'm just
Stone Age.
Bazunga.
I'm kidding. Really, it's a Stone Age. Where do you want to go on to next? Oh, I know where I want to go. Since we got Russ and the fire lit under his nuts.
So, the goddamn Broncos.
Yes, let's hear it.
So, the Broncos.
Hold on. I don't know if you've heard yet. I don't know if this is going to fuel your fire, but I just want to add in there before you tell your piece. They did find the quarterbacks. Yeah. Okay.
I had some backstory here. Yeah.
I didn't know if you saw that. I didn't see it till tonight.
Yeah. So the quarterbacks got fined. For anybody that's not aware of the situation, so the Broncos, basically every quarterback on their roster was quarantined due to COVID. They had one that tested positive, and the others were quarantined due to close contact. 4 in total, I believe. So they had no active quarterbacks on their roster. The NFL decided to make them play the game. There's a lot of moving parts here. Since this, we found out, as you said, the quarterbacks have been fined for not wearing a mask. Drew Lock said that the quarterbacks had a workout after hours, after the team had gone home.
So there's nobody there?
They went in for their own workout. I don't know who all that included. I'm sure there was a coach or something of some type there.
I think I heard it was just the 4 quarterbacks.
Okay. So they said he basically – I actually don't know if this quote was from him or from the guy that tested positive, but one of them said they went in for their own workout because it was just the 4 of them. They were a little more lax on the rules with the masks and stuff like that.
So that's why they got fined, was because – they didn't wear their mask when they went in for the.
So did anybody actually?
Practice.
I don't know this. Did any of them, the 4 of them, actually test positive, or
Yes.
was it the coach?
No, Driscoll.
Yeah, one of the quarterbacks was positive.
Driscoll tested positive.
Okay, I didn't know that.
But you watch these games, right? They're finding some coaches, and they've already taken a draft pick away from somebody for not having a coach not having a mask
Raiders,
on,
yeah.
right? But you got 11 guys in the huddle, all within 2 feet of each other. None of them have a mask on. You look on the sideline, half these guys that are wearing, in quotes, their mask have it down around their chin and stuff like that. And then if they need to yell at somebody, they take the mask off.
Yeah,
so
when
you
they
can
get
hear
angry,
them.
they yell. So
I understand that these 4 quarterbacks did not wear their mask. I get that in this workout. Along the same timeline, we have the Steelers and Ravens that were supposed to play last Thursday night, Thanksgiving night last week, because the Ravens were having issues with COVID tests and contact tracing or whatever. So they moved that from Thursday to Sunday. They then moved it from Sunday to Tuesday, and they then moved it from Tuesday, and they played it this afternoon. We're recording Wednesday night. So they moved that from last Thursday to this Wednesday. The Broncos basically, I believe the Broncos petitioned to have their game moved a couple days so that they could complete COVID testing and at least have a quarterback on their roster. They were playing the Saints, by the way.
Yep.
So another aspect of this, you have the Saints and the Bucks that are in, prior to this week, we're in a very close playoff race, right? And you're basically giving a win to the Saints by forcing them to play without a quarterback.
Yep.
So they ended up playing with a practice squad wide receiver who was a couple weeks prior working in some retail job.
Yeah.
And he wasn't in practice squad till like Thursday.
Yeah, he was
Thursday or
signed-
Friday.
They said he signed him like November 4th.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think that
Yeah. Either way.
around November 4th he got signed, but like you said, he was doing like retail sales,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, either way, he was a practice squad wide receiver. And based on COVID tests, they let Drew Lock takes some COVID tests. I'm assuming Sunday, Monday, and yesterday. He was back as a full participant in practice today, Wednesday. So there obviously wasn't a 2-week quarantine or whatever. If they were comfortable with him being a full practice member today, they could have played the game today, the same day that the Ravens and Steelers played.
Agree.
I like I said, I understand that they didn't wear their masks in this practice, and that's their fault. But to me, it's a joke to try to have an NFL game with a team that doesn't even have a quarterback on its active roster. To me, that's a black eye on the
So
the
I
NFL.
didn't know until just now that you said that they had like a separate workout. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then, because the only thing I saw was like we all knew what was going on. I saw the press conference Sunday night with the Broncos coach, who for some reason, if that's the case, they had their own workout. If they're working out, this coach was kind of like, yeah, well, I guess it is what it is. They got to be more careful. Maybe it's my fault for not instilling more of these protocols. He basically took half the blame for these quarterbacks doing this and the reason they were in that position, and they should know better, and I should know better. But then you're telling me they went in after the fact and had a workout. To me, that's almost safer. You know what I mean?
Right. There's only 4 of them in there.
There's only 4 of them in there, which proves the point. Like, it doesn't matter if you're not in a big group. It just takes one person. And my other thing is it really that contagious? How come nobody from the Titans, if the Ravens were so contagious, I mean, they all tested positive, like, what, Monday? Like, the next, they played Sunday. They played Titans Sunday and tested positive. How come nobody from the Titans tested positive?
Yeah.
Like, if it's so contagious, like you said, it's not like they're wearing a mask on the field.
Yeah.
And so people have been, like, obviously, Russ said the 4 of them were together. So people have been asking, and obviously I don't know what other teams are doing, but from the Bills' perspective, so everybody's been wondering, Jake Fromm has been practicing by himself.
Yep.
Nowhere near anyone else. He practices by himself every practice. So people have been wondering why. But it's for this reason, because if Allen and Barkley test positive, they still have a quarterback that can play.
Is he doing, like, is he participating in meetings, like, remotely and stuff?
Yeah,
Or-
he's doing everything remotely. And
The same as the Eagles' Josh McCown situation that we talked about earlier in the year. Yeah.
He's the designated survivor.
yeah, basically, yeah.
That's crazy.
I just think when, like I say, when the Steelers Ravens were supposed to play 3 games prior to this, and yet they moved it to 3 days later, that you could have easily moved the Broncos
100%.
Saints to
100%.
today.
And now I didn't hear Roethlisberger's post-game press conference, but what I'm gathering on Twitter is he was complaining because now they have to play on, which they've already moved the Steelers game from Sunday to Monday. Next week.
Yep.
So he's complaining already that they don't have, that it's a short week. Does he not realize that Wednesday to Monday is longer than if they played Sunday and had to play Thursday? Like,
Right. No, I get it. It's just, I think it's on top of his.
and
his
I think he's complaining because the Ravens, the game is Tuesday.
Yeah, they got pushed.
But it was supposed to be Thursday night. It
Yeah.
was supposed to be tomorrow. That got canceled. Now they're playing Tuesday.
I think is the problem with what he's probably more pissed about, and he's probably not saying, or maybe he doesn't realize, he's probably also pissed that you keep prepping for a game on a certain day and then it gets pushed back. So, okay, we're going to do it this day, and then it gets pushed back.
Yeah, and it's not like, and then the following week they play Sunday night against the Bills. So it's not like it's Monday to Sunday. It's
Right.
not a.
And them being put on Monday night versus the Ravens being put on Tuesday night is 100% driven by TV rights.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Who had what game?
Yep, exactly.
Which the game played at 3:30 or whatever it was today because we got to light a Christmas tree that looks like shit in New York City. I don't know if you guys have seen this tree.
Yeah.
It's like the worst tree in the history of Rockefeller.
Yeah. It's a big ass Charlie Brown tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think it's a
No,
joke.
good.
It's
It's
force a team to play without a quarterback.
I've been saying this for a while. We talked about last week with college basketball. Like, it's just not a normal year, so stop acting like it's normal.
Yeah, right. Same with Titans. When Titans played the Bills, they kept moving that game around because people were testing positive.
Yeah, they've
So-
moved 10 games already this year.
Right.
So why not move this one?
Why, and what's the problem with pushing? Who gives? I don't care. I mean, I've heard we've talked about like move the Super Bowl if you have to, move the playoffs if you have to.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, that's kind of okay. Well, it's still not normal. We're still not in normal circumstances, and that doesn't mean, and just because there's a possibility things are a little more normal at the time of Super Bowl doesn't mean it's normal getting there. Therefore, you might have to move it. And I'm just, I actually got frustrated upstairs earlier because I'm watching the basketball game and I'm like, they like colleges, like I think one team didn't travel, might have been Texas Tech, didn't travel because COVID concerns. You know, they got this college basketball bullshit going on, COVID concerns. We got possibility to test. I get so frustrated because I'm like, and I'll focus back in on the NFL. How are these guys testing positive if they're quote unquote being careful? And the answer to that is they're not being careful. I don't give a shit what anybody says.
Yeah.
If you're going to practice and going home and everybody's doing what they're supposed to, then you should, right? You shouldn't be. There shouldn't always be getting sick.
Yeah.
And it just pisses me off because I know a firsthand experience where I know for a fact that they're not being careful. And this said person plays for the Buffalo Bills, and I'll tell you about it off air. And we know of other times, like the Giants lost that night to the Eagles.
Yeah.
Danny Jones and Saquon Barkley, who was on the IR, were out at a bar that night, like a Sunday night game or a Thursday night game. I'm like, come on, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, and so I don't know if you watch much of the Tournament of Champions last night with Michigan State, Duke, and Kansas, Kentucky. They actually put sensors in their jerseys.
They sewed them in.
Yeah, so that they could say, oh, if this person tests positive later in the week, oh, these people were near him for more than 10 minutes or whatever during the game.
So the NFL's doing that in their facilities.
Yeah.
I saw an interview with TJ Watt. He did on McAfee. He had a thing around his neck, and that's exactly what it was, or they wear it on their wrist. It's basically like a close contact thing. If you're, in my opinion, you're already in the NFL, therefore you're in a bubble outside of regular society. So if you're testing positive now, then you're just not being careful.
Which I assume is how they caught these Broncos players, because it's like, why were the four of, if they looked at those and said, oh, why were the four of you together at 8:30?
Well, they got cameras in their facilities now. Well, right. Too, yeah.
But, why were the four of you together at 8:30 Tuesday night? Oh, we were having a workout.
I think it's just bullshit. I mean, to me, you're just not being careful. That's just what it boils down to. And was it, what night did the Seahawks play? Sunday night. They've had 0 cases.
Yep.
And the other thing I don't like is the way the media drives how they report it. And I think the NFL has this COVID injury list or COVID list, whatever you want to call it. And a lot of it is precaution, not necessarily guys have tested positive. It's simply like, this person may have been around somebody and these other people may have been around them. Therefore, we're going to put them on a list until we figure it out. But that shit gets instantly thrown on the news the second it happens, because that list is probably public to most media. And therefore, they jump right on and they act like this dude's going to die. It plays for the Cleveland Browns. It's like Cleveland shut down the facility. And then sometime down the road, you find out it's like, oh, by the way, the guy who's on the practice squad hasn't been to practice in 2 weeks. It was him. But he's still got to come in and get tested because it's part of the protocols. So I don't like the way it's reported. And it exploded, but I don't want to get too political and all that bullshit. But I agree with you. Like, there were some grumblings that Harbaugh bitched and got his way for the Ravens. That's what I think it was driven from. So it wouldn't shock me. I think he's a little baby, but
I don't know.
Anyway, I feel like I got some other shit I want to vent about. Oh, I do.
I think you know that.
Well, first, I want to get. I don't have this written down. I want to get off my chest. Why in the fuck did the Yankees give Sanchez a contract?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Dude, you want to talk about wasting money?
What other option they got?
Bring the kid up from AAA. I don't know who his name is. Bring him up. It's got to be better than Sanchez.
Yeah.
That dude's a terrible catcher.
He's the worst.
Nagasaki or whatever his name was that caught for Cole, right?
Yeah.
Like, why don't
bring up somebody else?
Obviously Sanchez hits, but
listen, whatever position I throw him in the batting order, I'll punt that position to have a catcher that can actually catch the ball.
Yeah. So, you're springing us on us, but the Yankees X number of years ago decided Gary Sanchez was the next greatest catcher in history, and they're an organization that refuses to admit they were wrong.
It's unbelievable.
So
the guy tears fat and gets hurt.
What'd they sign him? How much did they sign him?
I don't know. I got a notification and I instantly lost my shit.
So
I don't even watch that much Yankee baseball.
I didn't watch a ton this year, but going into this past year, I would have said that JT Realmuto is the best defensive catcher in baseball, and he's a free agent. So you can't guarantee a player wants to go to the Yankees, but if the Yankees, whatever they paid Sanchez, if that's more than Realmuto gets somewhere, then that will be embarrassing to me.
Yeah.
And like you said, the kid that they had They literally benched
he was
Sanchez
fine,
in the playoffs to catch for Cole.
The problem is he's not a kid. I think he's like 30-something.
Yeah, I think he's a little older, but
career minor leaguer, so they're probably not willing to invest in him
but even still, but yeah, like Russ said, Real Muto's free agent, and I know there's sure there's 3 teams for sure said they are willing to pay him a significant amount of money. And he's like 31 or 32.
Yeah, Real Muto, Yadi Molina, who's much older, obviously, but on a 1 or 2 year deal, he's still an elite
and he's
defender.
a contact hitter. He doesn't strike out a ton. So
and is it Jared McCann, the White Sox,
from the White Sox
catcher?
Yeah, yep.
They're all better options than Sanchez.
So I'm looking this up right now. That they said they just planned to tender a contract to catcher Gary Sanchez on Wednesday. You want to talk about a waste of money? The dude hit 147 in the regular season with 10 home runs, 24 RBIs.
I mean, I think he was making $5 million, and he's not going to accept a lower salary.
I'm guessing they gave him close to 15. Is my guess.
Holy waste of money, dude.
That'd be my guess. Real Muto's asking for 25.
So I didn't realize.
You know what? If Sanchez, not just Yankees, if your catcher is batting 147, but he hasn't allowed a pass ball and he's defensively great, like, do you give a shit? He's batting 147.
Right.
Nope.
That's what we just mentioned. Molina. That's what when Tony La Russa was still managing the Cardinals when Yadi came into the league, and at that time you could put Yadi in his prime, the best defensive catcher potentially in history. And La Russa had a famous quote saying, "I don't care if he doesn't have a hit all season, he's still my starting catcher." Because defense and handling the pitching staff, it will always be number one priority for the catching position.
And obviously Molina never, probably until I'll say 8 years ago, seems a while ago, and then he started hitting more, and he did have a couple. I think he had 1 or 2 years over 300, so he hit well.
Yes,
but
he's got to be 16.
I was going to say he's got to be
career now.
It's been a while. Yeah,
it was at least halfway through his career where he was not a good hitter.
I'm pretty sure he was catching when they went to the World Series against the Red Sox in 2004.
Yes.
Sanchez was making 5.7.
Was making 5.7.
Yeah.
If I think you're guessing on your 15 mil, right? If they give him something like that,
anything over 10 is not worth it for me.
Yeah. So if they give him something like that, and then DJ LeMahieu walks because the Yankees claim they don't have enough money to pay him, the guy that just won the batting crown.
That's what I was thinking.
That will be ridiculous.
How long is the contract for?
So what I just looked up is per year. So he was making 5.7 per year.
Yeah, I knew that, but I don't think they've given details.
They haven't given details because you just tender contracts to him, so it's not.
He signs it, we'll find out. But either way, he shouldn't be offered a contract. I'd let that guy walk.
Yeah, and he may not sign it, which would be, to me, a positive for the Yankees unless they can't bring anybody else in. But if he doesn't sign it, obviously, to me, that's a plus for the Yankees.
You can find a scrap on the free agent market.
Russ is open, Yankees.
Pay him $800,000, and if they hit $250,000, it's a win.
You'll make more than $100,000. I read one time that bullpen catchers make $500,000 a year.
Bullpen catchers make $500,000 a year.
Russ, you're open, aren't you? You available?
If anyone needs a bullpen catcher, I'll do it for $400,000 a year. I'll give you a discount.
$400,000 and he needs a membership at Augusta.
That might make you more expensive than the other guys.
Yeah, that's true. Scrap that part. We'll start at $400,000. $400,000 and your second best country club in your city.
I'll start at $200,000. I've never caught before in my life. Maybe like one time in my life.
I did Little League till I was like 10, so I think I've got higher equity than you.
You line somebody up with a 100-mile-an-hour heater, and you and I will try out for that position, and we'll see who wins.
Yeah, he'll take the $400,000. So we talked about Billy Walton. We talked about the Denver situation. Adam's got some shit he wants to vent about, so let's hear it.
Yeah, I want to talk about these. Just personal fouls, I guess. It's more around touchdown celebrations in the NFL. So obviously Josh Allen scored a touchdown Sunday, gets up, spins the ball in front of the guy, gets 15-yard penalty. Okay. But in the 4 o'clock game, Tyreek Hill catches a 60-yard bomb, does a backflip into the end zone, and there's no goddamn penalty called? How? What the hell is wrong with these guys? Even in that Bills game, it wasn't a touchdown. Zach Moss had like a 30-yard run. Yeah. He got up, and he kind of threw the ball behind him, and it hit the defensive player. 15-yard penalty.
He wasn't
He's not
even
like,
looking. He just tossed the ball, walked away.
It's pretty accurately outlined, I think, in the rules. They use some pretty specific verbiage.
But doing a backflip into the end zone in front of a guy?
That's what I'm saying. They have like
right.
these 15 things that they outline, and if you
I
don't
thought they were
touch
going to bang Tyreek with a penalty because his first touchdown, he turned around and threw the dude the peace sign.
Yeah.
Like at the 10-yard line, I was like, whoa.
So I heard before I get into something else I want to talk about with that, but so I heard I think Showtime or whoever does their kind of on the field, they're mic'd up guys. They had McDermott was mic'd up. And so I saw one today of he went over to the refs. He goes, "Oh, what'd he do? He must not have saw him spin the ball because he's in the corner." He goes, "Did he spike the ball?" He goes, "No, he spun the ball at the guy's feet." He goes, "Oh, he's a good kid." He goes, "Oh, no, it doesn't make him a bad person. He's a competitor. I'm just letting you know." So he went over to Josh. He said, "Hey, don't do that again because if he did it again, then he's kicked out of the game." But he turned around, starts walking away. He turned around, he goes, "But God damn it, I love you." So, I mean, but again,
it's petty shit. To me, it's
what I think they should get rid of that penalty call in the celebrations. If you give up a touchdown, you better stand there, and anybody can do whatever they want in front of you.
Yeah, deal with it.
Don't let them touch them, obviously, but spin the ball, do whatever you want. You should make them sit there and watch you.
It should be at like less than 10
If
seconds.
he would've-
Or set the
Right.
rules that way.
If he spun the ball and didn't look at the dude, they wouldn't have called it.
Right.
He spun and looked right at him. I was like, oh.
Or if he had just turned around and done it the other way.
Yeah. I think if you give up a touchdown, you should have to stand there and let the guy celebrate in front of you.
Yeah.
Don't give up the touchdown.
Don't give up the touchdown.
Why take away from ratings by calling out people for celebrating?
I'm fine with it.
And I think even the announcer mentioned it when Tyreek did his backflip. That even the announcers in Bills games even mentioned how like even Moss's penalty. I think Allen's you could understand calling it, but Moss is like, why did you throw a flag?
Yeah, they mentioned it with Tyreek's backflip because somebody on the Bucs had just gotten a penalty.
Oh, right.
The drive prior to that for something. They got like a first down and did something.
Yeah.
Obviously far less than a backflip. And
Yeah. It's just like I don't know if I was saying it's right. It's different refs. They call what they want, but it's very inconsistent.
I don't know if those are inconsistent. The Tyreek thing wasn't called because there was nobody near him. I think that's what you're getting at with them being outlined. If you can't celebrate in the player's face, that's why it's a penalty. Like we say, if Josh ran down the field 10 yards and nobody was around, he spun the ball, it wasn't a penalty.
Yeah.
Tyreek, there wasn't, because he was burning everybody. There was nobody within like 20 yards of him when he did that. I don't know. It's those types of penalties, the personal fouls, are their own conversation. I think all penalties in the NFL are getting to be just ridiculous.
It's kind of petty.
Nobody. I was watching a couple games with my dad last weekend. He was saying, he's like, no clue. My dad's an old school football guy, high school, played and everything. He's been watching it for years. And he was like, I have no idea what the hell's pass interference anymore these days.
Yeah.
Because one play, a guy tackles a guy when the ball's still 20 feet away from him and there's no flag. And then the next play, you just give a slight tug to a jersey or something and it's a penalty. And that's where I think the inconsistency is.
And I get tired of the, receiver goes out, quarterback misses the wide receiver, and we got defensive backs having a block party in the middle of the field, flexing, and come on, dude, act like you've been there.
Yep.
That's what I
Back in the
say.
huddle.
If you get a touchdown, guys should be able to celebrate right in front of you.
These guys, defensive backs will get a tackle after a 15-yard gain and get up and flex in the dude's face.
Yeah, but you don't get a penalty. But then you spin the ball. You spin the ball at a guy and you get a penalty.
Yeah, there was somebody in my dad and I were watching the Clemson game. Who the hell did they play? Pitt. Yeah. So that first quarter when Clemson was up 31-0, I don't know if it was at the end of first quarter or early second. Clemson had the ball again. One of the defensive backs made a good play, and he celebrated like he just won the Super Bowl. And my dad was like, "Dude, you're down 31-0, 16 minutes into this game. Like, why are you celebrating right now?" It makes no sense.
It's mind-boggling. I got in trouble one time in high school. I got teed up. I was a little bit more of a hothead in high school. I talked my shit on the basketball court. No, I didn't do that. That dumb shit. No. But we were smoking. We were smoking a team, and kid they're down like 25, and somebody went to inbound the ball to me, and he tipped it away, and he turned around and said something to me. And I was like, really, dude? And I got trouble and I got teed up because I asked him to read the scoreboard and I pointed to it and like at the end of the fourth quarter. So
Yep.
I didn't have my problem talking my shit. So I got in trouble for that one. But hey, you shouldn't have said anything. I wouldn't have pointed at the scoreboard. I didn't know if you could read or not. What else you got? You got another rant over there.
So I got a couple. Well, first of all, not even a rant. Will the Bucks please just double cover Tyreek Hill? Like, after you get burned the first time and then the second time, like,
No.
just put 2 guys on him, please.
Cash me
like,
in DraftKings, thanks.
But you know what I mean? Like, I thought Todd Bowles was a good defensive coach, but you can't figure out that you probably should put somebody over the top on Tyreek Hill.
Another
Like-
week where Bruce Arians comes out and just points the finger at Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't defend the Bucs on that game, but I do think that game had more to do with how just unstoppable KC's offense can
Right.
be. That was a game where like everything they wanted to do was clicking, and yes, they should have double teamed Tyreek Hill, but at the same time, it was like I don't think they can make any changes that are going to make a difference in this game.
Mike texted me. You yelled at me for a lineup change that I did not make. I made one slight. I didn't send you something and then change it and didn't tell you. Like,
I didn't get the Tyreek Hill update to throw in my lineup.
Mike sent me a text at like 12:30 and goes, Tyreek's going to go nuclear today. I was like, okay. So we made a little flippy flop, and he went nuclear. He had like, which by the way, he's like my third star of the week. He had 264 yards, 69 yards, 3 touchdowns on 13 catches. He had 200 plus yards in the first half.
Yeah. So we were
First
talking,
quarter.
Yeah, he had 200 plus first quarter. We talked beforehand. We're going to do stars maybe a little bit differently, so we're not repeating. Yeah, he's also my second star of the week. Like you said, 13 catches, 269 for 3 touchdowns.
Stupid.
It's just insane. And he mimicked Shannon Sharp's,
Yeah.
I don't know, celebration's not the right word, but you're talking about him doing backflips. You
Yeah.
see him on the sideline because they were in Tampa.
Yeah.
He went over, picked up the phone, then hung it up and told the fans that help was on the way. Help was on the way. They're coming, I promise. It's like that's savage.
I like the, not to go too off topic, but I do like you sent us the clip of Baker this week.
Dude.
I love that they're picking up more of that stuff in the microphone. Did you see the video?
Oh, yeah. When
The line shifted, he's like, that's fucking cute, boys.
Yeah, that was great.
Which, by the way, Baker Mayfield has the best commercials right now.
Yeah, he does.
Dude,
He
that
does.
is, the Thanksgiving one.
Yeah.
How much longer on a turkey?
15, 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Like the one where he keeps
20 minutes.
he keeps having to run back out from the car, keep emptying his pockets to go through the metal detector.
Take him some crescent rolls. That'll hold him over.
Oh, man. What was I just looking up?
So, and then also I should have mentioned earlier when we were talking about the Broncos. Did you guys see Jerry Jones's quote?
I didn't.
Or did you?
But I
Did you
heard.
hear about it?
I heard McAfee make a comment like, hey, Danucci, check Twitter.
Jerry Jones compared the Cowboys having to start Danucci, who he drafted in the 7th round this past year, to the Broncos situation this past week. First of all, none of you guys had COVID.
Negative.
That guy got hurt. Dalton got hurt. And you played a third-string guy who you drafted this year. Don't compare yourself to a team that 4 guys got COVID and they didn't have a quarterback. Like, it's crazy.
Not to mention.
Yeah, I saw after I saw the Jerry Jones quote. Then I think today McAfee went on about it, but I was dying laughing because McAfee's like we had to get the exact quote from what Jerry said.
Not to mention that the guy that started for the Broncos, his quarterback experience was like 3 games at Wake Forest, whatever it was when he was in college. He, moved to wide receiver. He completed 1 catch. They're like the first team ever to have more interceptions thrown than completions in a game.
So he is my second star of the week.
It's because it didn't have Jameis.
Just for stepping in.
They didn't
Made
have
$35,000 Sunday. So
They didn't have Jameis.
Yeah.
That's all they paid him was $35,000.
I know.
Dude, they should have been hazard pay. He could have died out there.
Yeah.
Bullpen catchers get $500,000.
Seriously.
Jesus.
And yeah, so kudos to him for stepping in on 2 days' notice. Yeah. First of all, he thought he was just going to the practice squad, and then he finds out the next day he's starting an NFL game.
Yeah.
So
Thought he was going to the practice squad as a receiver.
Yeah.
But
What how that conversation went? Hey, you're in, kid. Oh, sweet. Can't wait to tear up his D-backs this week. Yeah, you better. You're playing quarterback.
Here's the helmet with the green dot.
I mean, and I don't know if you ended up watching the game. Obviously, I wasn't on here, so we couldn't watch it, but they had him and Taysom Hill combined for 25 yards passing. Cole Beasley had 20 yards passing on Sunday. Just to throw that out there.
Should have signed Cole Beasley.
What the hell did the Saints do? They just run the ball?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think Hinton had 9 yards, and I think Hill had like 16 or something. It was
Goodness.
crazy.
We're talking about Kansas City. I think one of the reasons they're so tough, I mean, Travis Kelce on top of Tyreek Hill, because they now have Kelce and Hill at 2 and 3 in receiving yards in the NFL. That's a
because
that's a two-headed monster.
You start guarding over the top of Tyreek, you start underneath the Kelce.
Yeah.
And if you shut either of them down, you go to Edwards-Helaire, the stud rookie running back.
Which, by the way, one of my picks were awful again this week. There's just some like horrible shit happening in the NFL with my picks. Can you explain to me how the Raiders score 6 points this week, but they can play great football and against the Chiefs?
It's the John Gruden way.
And then you just apologize for it.
Yeah.
Old Chucky Doll himself. Oh, I'm just really sorry. Fans deserve better. But my bad beak of the week. Is this what you're going to bring up?
But yeah, I mean,
Dude, I don't know if you're aware of this. I had the Seahawks in my blog this week, -6.5.
Oh.
Was it my blog or just my pick?
I think it was
on the
just your
podcast.
pick.
Okay, so on the podcast, took Seahawks -6.5. This just sums up how the last like 3 weeks have gone.
and it was for everybody.
Yeah. And it was, so I learned 70% of the money in Vegas was on the Seahawks -6.5. Vegas has been killing it for like 4 weeks right now. The Eagles down like 15, 14, throw a bullshit Hail Mary that gets swatted down. Dude catches it. Some other guy catches it, one-handed touchdown. There's 12 seconds
That's
left.
not even the worst part.
There's 12 seconds left. You have no shot of winning this game. You can kick the extra point, just keep it moving. No, we're going to go for 2 and fuck over the entire world.
Tell me Doug Peterson didn't have them.
I want an investigation of that asshole. There's no way that
had
dude.
the Eagles +6.5.
He had the Eagles +6.5. There's no way.
Why
There's
would you
no
go?
reason to go for 2.
Yeah, because if you go for 2, you're down 6. But if you kick the extra point, you're still down 7. It's not like it changes things
With
at
12
all.
seconds left.
There's
I
a
was
part of me that
watching that.
hopes he was aware of that, and that was his reasoning.
Oh, I hope so.
Just for the fun of it.
What a
I think a
pecker.
lot of coaches are like aware of it, even though they.
There's no way they don't know.
Yeah,
betting
I think
lines.
they all dismiss it, but I think they're all
Oh, they're
aware
aware of it. They all had.
Dude,
Peterson
if
had
you
the-
if you do that when being down 6 or 7 really means nothing in football, like what?
Someone's like,
Like
oh,
what?
I read a tweet and I was like, well, the math there's correct. You go for 2, you can win the game. I'm like, shut up. Peterson plays for the tie. We already know that. He did it in like week 2. Oh, I was so pissed.
But
Oh boy.
Talk about a shitty beat, dude. Picks this week, last like 3 weeks. Just
dude, it's been tough past.
stupid
few
shit
weeks.
going on. Stupid shit. The Giants last week, they were -6.5 playing Cincinnati, who has like a janitor playing quarterback. I mean, not that the Giants are that great, but
Yeah. Danny Dimes got hurt.
Got hurt.
early in that though.
Yeah.
to put in Cole McCoy. Either way, they were still up. McCoy ran him down the field. They're up 9 with 2 minutes left or less than 2 minutes left. What do? Give up a touchdown. Don't cover.
It's Giants football, baby.
Oh, it's furious.
I got a stat for you guys, given to me by Sean, who's a weekly listener. Brett Favre. Wow,
Is this him applying for a job?
maybe. Taylor better watch out.
Adam's applying for Bill Walton's job tonight. Holy shit.
Aaron Rodgers has 397 career touchdown passes. 4 of them are to a first-round pick.
Yep.
All to Mercedes Lewis.
Well, that's because the Packers don't draft well.
Well, right. But that's crazy to me.
I don't know if that's an accomplishment for.
That's crazy. He has almost 400 touchdown passes and only 4 to a first-round draft pick. And it wasn't even the Packers' first-round draft pick. He was drafted first by the Jaguars.
Which, by the way, real quick, shout out to Aaron Rodgers. Over 50,000 yards he passed.
Yeah.
All-time passer in the organization, the Packers. And I read somewhere, like, can't remember who it was. They are now the leading. Like, he's got 50,000. Somebody else is like, they're leading in their franchise, and it's like 12,000. Or like 25,000, I'm sorry, whatever.
Yeah.
It was something stupid. Like, it wasn't even close to what he had.
Yeah, well, him and Favre combined have, like, crazy record. I think they were talking about a few of them. When did they play? Thursday? I don't know what day they played.
They asked him
Monday.
if he was proud of it. He's like, no, it just proves I've played for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it, they've went, I don't know how many years, probably 35 years with basically 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is crazy nowadays.
It's a lucky fan base.
yeah.
in reality.
Oh, yeah.
And if we want to talk about longevity, I got another one I saw this morning. Real quick to golf. This is Dustin Johnson's 106th career week at world number 1 in the official world golf ranking. Tying Rory.
You just got Taylor's attention.
Oh, he knows. So I'm going with this.
It's insane.
Tying Rory McIlroy for third most all time. Just not consecutive, just 106 weeks.
Total weeks.
Total weeks. If Dustin Johnson holds the number 1 spot every week until Christmas of 2031, he'll tie Tiger Woods' record of 683 weeks.
How is that even possible?
Isn't that crazy? And then, that's just a reminder of how dominant he was.
Yeah. Yep. Crazy.
And if you get a chance, go check out, shout out to Colton Host. I'd love to have you on this podcast. Him and the Sleaze, man.
Oh,
They interviewed Fowler and Thomas.
I saw part of the Thomas one.
So Thomas told the story about how a few years ago when Tiger missed the Masters, he hadn't told anybody yet. So he texted Justin Thomas and said, hey, why don't you come on over? Because Justin's like, he can't go anywhere. He literally can't. That's why everything's at his house. He has like a compound because it's just like, it's the trade-off. He can't go anywhere. So he texted him. He's like, why don't you come on over? We'll chip and putt. So he decided to go over there. I'm watching Tiger hit chips and learning these different shots. And he said, how you feeling? You're going to play you playing in 2 weeks? He's like, no, I'm not playing. He goes, but I haven't told anybody yet, so don't say anything. He's like, oh, yeah, I won't. The next year, Tiger played. And Thomas said, I texted him and said, hey, I'm in town if you want to get some short game work. And he goes, yeah, I'm playing this year. He goes, yeah, I know. I'm just in town. If you're going to stop over, we just chip putt or whatever. He goes, yeah, I'll see you at Augusta. Because this whole story got started because they said, you're good friends with Tiger. Like, how often do you ask him for advice? He goes, I gotta pick and choose. Like when I ask, he's like, when I'm at Augusta, I know I ain't get shit from him. He's like, fun. Yeah. He's like, I was just gonna call. He's like, yeah, I'll see you at Augusta. They live just like a few miles from each other.
I don't even think it's a mile. I thought him, Fowler, and
they all live like right there.
Thomas Fowler and Woods all live like side by side.
I'll see you at Augusta.
Oh, quick question. Steph Curry, +1, yes or no?
I saw the debate on this.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
It was who was it? I think it was Max Homa that tweeted.
Yes.
About different scenarios, and he said he's played with whatever guys that were +3 that have shot, mid-70s, and he made the point of Dustin Johnson, who we ironically just talked about. I think Dustin Johnson's officially listed right now as like a +6 or something.
It's like a +10.
Okay, +10, and he noted, was it last year when he had 2 rounds in the 80s?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it for you.
It happens.
Yeah. I have no issue with that.
I think so. The reason you ask is because of the charity match that went on last weekend. Peyton Manning and Steph Curry against Phil and Charles Barkley. And
give me Phil and Charles all day long.
Yeah.
Just mic'd up.
Well,
yeah.
just the whole setup seems kind of funny to me, the way they picked the people to play each other.
I think they're just doing it for TV ratings.
No, I mean, I enjoy it. I think it does a lot of good for the game of golf to have a fun match like that where it's not so serious and stuffy and one shot to another. It's the riding in the cart between the little GoPros in there and seeing Phil be a ham and give advice.
TNT. So, that's where Charles has got a contract with TNT.
Yeah.
And he's entertaining.
It's alternate shots, so it's tough to tell, but you could also argue the opposite. Based on what you saw, would you think Charles Barkley is a 25 handicap?
Right.
No one.
No, it's still a relatively high number. He's
good for him too, though.
Yeah.
Regardless of what his handicap is, the way that he's gone from. You remember the Haney project when he couldn't even.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Had this
itch.
major flinch.
Yeah.
To see him actually swing a golf club and enjoy the game again is really refreshing.
Yes, absolutely.
Which, by the way, Phil owns that course that they played.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the one in between? He hit a rock off the side and it bounced in. And he goes, how do you know I hit that rock? He says, I own the place.
I own the place.
Yeah.
They said that morning him and Peyton played a practice round together. Played 18 holes before they did the whole match thing. Took them 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Play 18 holes.
Manning and Curry.
Yeah, Manning and Curry did.
Oh, was it Manning and Curry? Yeah.
Phil and Charles played the day before Thanksgiving.
50 minutes.
Yeah. I don't.
Those carts are jacked up, but still,
I don't believe that. That's like 2 point. I did the math when they said that. It was like 2.6 minutes per hole.
Yeah.
That's not playing a round of golf.
I've done it in juiced up carts where there's singles, just 2 guys in the juiced up carts, and you can't do it faster.
Well, I
than
think
an
they
hour
played
and a half.
alternate shots, so I don't know if they just played like true alternate, like,
In one
hey, you
golf
tee off,
cart.
I'll go up there, get ready, hit my
Still.
next
You're
one.
not
Like,
getting
I
that
don't
old.
know.
Still,
But
by
yeah.
myself, I've done it in a juiced up
yeah.
cart in an hour and 15 max.
Right.
I mean, that's just as fast as you can get around that big of a place.
Yeah.
as I say, plus keep in mind, based on the look of what we saw on TV, there's a 30-second
That's
drive
true.
between some of the holes.
And you got
Yeah.
are you not reading putts?
So
You're just gonna walk up and hit them.
Yeah, that one's good. Pick it up.
I mean,
So-
based on what we saw,
They
I'm
probably
guessing
should have taken-
They should have taken a little more
Take
time.
a little more time, hit a few more putts.
So
So yeah, Steph did not have his best day. Did he look like a +1 handicap? No, but do I believe he is? Yes, I do. I think it's just a product of the environment.
Yeah.
Playing an alternate shot for charity with a bunch of money on the line.
Now, we hit some good shots. I think didn't result in what he thought. Like, he hit that one drive.
that went in the
and
water.
Went in the water.
Yes.
And that was smoked. And then I think it was in the same hole. They ended up playing Manning's ball. And he thought he hit a good shot. And they told him in his ear, like, that went in the back bunker. He hit it on a
Yes.
great line. It
Yes.
just went in the
Yep.
back bunker.
There was also one of the drivable holes that I believe Phil hit a 3-wood to like the back fringe, and it was like a 310-yard hole. And Steph also hit a 3-wood and was pin high on it. So he's hitting his 3-wood over 300 yards, and he's clearly he does have the skill. He
played a couple Corn Ferry events.
yeah.
Yeah.
He missed the cut, but he shot like he still went out there respectively.
The one
just
he
like,
shot like 74 and missed
Yeah.
the cut. So
Yeah, that was the second or third time I think he went out there
Yeah.
and did that. Because the first couple times I know there was a lot of backlash when he shot like 84, 83 or something.
Right. Yeah.
But
No,
it's
he's-
a different
he's
stage. It's a different
solid
golf
player.
course experience to play something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think any of us would go out and shoot a true number to our ability if we teed it up for the first time on, the
Right.
Corn Ferry Tour.
Yeah.
I'd just be if it was a par 3 on the first, I might hit driver just to make contact.
Yeah.
I mean, he said, and I remember him saying he was like nervous playing. It's
Yeah.
it's
I mean,
totally different. Obviously, he's a star in the NBA, but it's totally different sport.
Yeah. I mean, we know you're a scratch golfer, and if we put you on that golf course, as long as they were playing it on those tees and you shot a 76, I'm not going to question his handicap based on him shooting a 76 or something. Just it happens.
Yeah. I mean,
This kid shoot like 110.
That's true.
I wasn't
Valid
questioning
point.
at all. I've seen a lot of good scores by
That course
really
was easy,
garbage
too.
swings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
athleticism's key.
Yep.
Anybody that can keep their hands quiet can shoot a good score.
That course looked just like
It looked tight. They were like, "Oh, it's wide open." I'm like,
Not as
I just
narrow
see
as
a lot of rock.
not as narrow as Indian Hills, but it looked like someplace there was no place to hit it other than in the
Yeah.
desert.
I could probably just like rewatch Phil and Chuck like going back and forth. Even when like Phil was in like the weeds and he's like, "Chuck, throw me my sandwich," and he throws it and he threw it like 5 feet short and he's like, "Ah, thanks."
I'm sure they had conversations about it beforehand, but Phil's over instruction would annoy the shit out of me, though.
Yeah.
After a
So
while.
I had a question for you guys. If you could choose a golfer to play like a casual round with and just like listen in like how him and his caddy like go back and forth, I think I would choose Phil to like just based on what we've seen from like the like 4 or 5 charity things we've seen of him. I think he'd be really entertaining, a casual. And then for me, a different one would be if you could follow a player and caddy around in like a major tournament and see how they communicate back and forth, because that answer would be totally different for me. I wouldn't go with Phil, but I think like casual round just to play with him and like understand his thoughts on shots. I think Phil would be like an
It's
ideal-
Bryson DeChambeau every day of the week.
I'm drowning him in the pond on 5.
At Indian Hills?
Yeah,
There's a pond on 4, dude. Get it over there earlier.
I want to give him hope. I would say probably actually Fowler and his caddy just because of the personalities.
Yeah, that's obviously Phil's got a good personality. Obviously, that plays into it.
Yeah.
Kisner and Dewey.
Oh yeah, that's got to be a good one too.
Yeah.
Kiz and Dewey.
You don't want to hear what LaCava's got to offer?
So Tiger and Joe would be my like
Been a major.
in a tournament to listen how they go back and forth, because then you can
I
see
can't
Tiger in his
imagine.
element.
I cannot imagine Joe's putting that much advice.
Right,
forward.
but that's what I'm saying. Do they communicate at all, or is it? I think that would be interesting to see how they.
To Taylor's
During a
point, there's a
major.
lot of caddies just don't say shit.
Right.
I mean, when I was doing it on the LPGA tour, there was some who talked to their. It depends on the player. Like you could have somebody with a personality of like a Ricky Fowler, but when it comes tournament time, they don't say shit out there, and they don't really communicate. They just want a number. I saw a lot of that in the LPGA. I mean, the whole week I caddy, we played for different people every day. Some people are a little more relaxed with their caddies than others, and some didn't speak to the caddies at all. They just grab my bag, give me the number when I get to the ball, show some hustle, keep up, shut up mentality.
Yep.
And then there was some who like The girl I caddied for, like, she hammed it up with me all week in between shots, like small talk, shooting shit. Just depends on the player, I guess.
I think I have another answer. Paul Casey. Seems like the nicest dude
Johnny
out
Long
there.
Socks.
Oh, yeah, his caddy got the rocking the Jordan ones.
Was it FedEx Cup when he's hitting into 18 and his caddy gives him the wrong club and he doesn't get pissed off at his caddy. He just looks back at him and just.
It wasn't even his caddy gave him wrong. I think he grabbed the wrong one out.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
he just looks at his caddy and it's presumably for $1 million plus that he just blew this over the green with the wrong club and just gives the guy a grin. And I think he looks down at the club and he's like, "This isn't what I wanted."
Yeah, I think he went to grab like a 4-iron. He grabbed like a 2-iron.
Imagine the alternative of a lot of the players out there.
Right? Yeah.
There would have been a tongue lashing from hell.
Bubba.
So I knew you were going to bring that
I
up.
didn't want to say
I couldn't stand the way Bubba treated his
What is
caddy.
this? Ted?
Ted Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Poor guy.
I was on the same page as you, where like, man, that guy's just like, he just destroys his caddy out there sometimes. And then Bubba's wife, did an interview one time. So Bubba and Ted have been together since he was like mini tours.
Yeah.
And they said those two are like brothers. She's like, they're not on a golf course. I've seen them fight like brothers.
Yeah.
So I think it kind of bleeds in, and it's Bubba's competitiveness. But yeah, on the surface, it doesn't look good.
Yeah, and Ted's tweet. He's big on Twitter, but he said like, whenever he says, I don't take it to heart at all.
Yeah.
It's
Greller gets the same thing from Spieth.
I don't. That's another. I don't know.
I mean, you're
But
kind
like
of paid to be
5, 6
that.
years ago, I would be like, oh yeah, let me follow the two of them around. I don't think you want any piece of that now.
Ooh, my
It's
brain
just-
would be in a blender listening to that right now. I'm trying to figure. I feel bad for the kid. I really do. I feel terrible for Spieth because we have this expectation of him after that season, and we're watching him try to get back on track under a huge microscope in the public eye because everyone knows what Jordan Spieth is.
Yeah.
Like we talked about before, if like he hadn't gone out and won all that and just gradually built up to being successful, we wouldn't be talking about it. I feel terrible for him. I really do, and I give him credit. He was on that Subpar podcast a few weeks ago with Colton Host and the Sleaze, and his approach and his response to him struggling was, I give him credit. He's just like, yeah, not worried about him. Just in a little slump. I'll figure it out. We'll get back to, having success. You go look at his numbers, though. He made 14 of 17 cuts last year. He makes money.
He was making cuts. He just.
But our expectation is him winning.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. What else? You got another rant over there?
No, I think I'm good. My rants. I'm done.
You got a rant?
I'll save it for the end. It's not as much a rant as a told you so.
Well, what's you talking about? You want to get into it?
We can talk about it right out of the gate if you want.
That topic could bleed into a number of conversations.
Well, why don't we touch on something a little bit different, but the same event? Let's talk about Jake Paul Robinson.
Okay.
You guys, it seemed like a real hot button for me. I took it for what it was. It was a guy fighting a retired NBA player with no fighting experience. It's fun. You can't deny the fact that it's fun to watch someone get starched.
I'm not going to deny that.
Correct.
I think Russ said it best in our text messages that as like YouTube entertainment, sure, but Jake Paul calling out Conor McGregor might be one of the dumbest things we're going to see in 2020 outside of COVID. Yeah. There is absolutely no shot that kid would die in a ring. If he thought he knocked out Nate Robinson, Conor would murder that kid in a ring.
I told you, I'd like to see it just because.
I don't.
I think you thought I was advocating in the texts that maybe there was some sort of chance. I was just playing devil's advocate when I made the Tyson Fury argument that only took him a couple of years. Next thing you know, he's at the Olympics and takes home silver.
He did not compete at the Olympics, by the way.
Who did I have that mixed up with?
I don't know. I looked it up, so not trying to call you out. I looked up because I was confused.
You're right, though. That's got to be right.
He was supposed to compete in the Olympics, but the country can only take, I think, one boxer in the weight class or something like that, and he didn't go. He wasn't ready. But the difference with Fury is Fury's got 20 professional fights or 21 professional fights. Jake Paul's fought 2 YouTubers and a retired NBA player.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about these Paul brothers, Jake and Logan. They're these YouTube stars.
They're douchebags.
But
to put it concisely,
yeah, they are.
Obviously, the kid is athletic and he's training boxing.
Yeah,
and if he started in the lower ranks and worked his way up through legitimate venues, I'm not saying he couldn't be a good boxer or something.
Right.
Yeah, it's
That's
hard
not
to
what
say
I'm
he doesn't
saying.
have potential when you watch him
But
fight.
for a guy
He's got
that
something going.
this guy just knocked out a retired NBA point guard
Who doesn't box?
who's never boxed before, and now he's calling out a 2-division UFC champion in a combat sport.
And if you make it just boxing, I think people underestimate Connor's boxing. I'm
No.
not a big fan of him, but Cormier this week said McGregor is the dude's legit at boxing.
Yeah.
McGregor, I watched Mayweather fight, and I wasn't a big fan of it at first. But let me ask you this: people are so high, and no disrespect to boxing. At one time, boxing was an art form, and I think I've been very vocal about it before. Boxing now is a complete joke because there is no structure and there's all this hoopla and bullshit behind it, and I think there's a lot of bullshit. I said before the fight happened, I said Tyson Jones is going to be a draw. It was a draw. I said before the Fury fight and Wilder fight that even though he did look good, Fury did, he did. I'll give him credit. I said if he wins that fight, he's going to fight Wilder again. And come to find out, that was already in the contract that if he lost the fight, they're going to have a trilogy fight. That's bullshit. That would never happen in UFC because if you just got your ass kicked like that, you'd be like, you go win a couple more fights before you get back here. Boxing has become a joke. So when I watched Mayweather-McGregor, people are like, oh, this is a joke. No, it's not. Connor, all these guys in UFC, for the most part, their base is, they go in every day. They might do their jiu-jitsu. They might do their grappling. But their base of everybody is every fight starts on your feet. They have some sort of striking skill, correct? You got to have that. The
yes.
fight doesn't start on the ground, so you can't do that to be in UFC.
Yep.
Connor's basis is boxing. He has a passion for the sport, and he is a legitimate boxer. You can call the guy the biggest asshole in the world. You can call him arrogant. He's done some really stupid shit. But the one thing Conor McGregor does better than most fighters is he's extremely obsessed with his art form, and he's a very good. When he's going to do something, he puts everything into it, and he's like, I'm showing up. And there's been guys who fought McGregor, and they said, what's the one thing that you got out of Conor you didn't expect? And every one of them, Eddie Alvarez, Dustin Poirier, the two that come to mind, said how hard he hit me. He said, Eddie Alvarez said the first time he hit me, he goes, I know I'm in a fight. The first time he hit me, I thought, what just hit me? It's that hard. I just don't. Boxing has become a joke. And if they want to do this whole like octagon, UFC fighter in a boxing ring, and then you got these boxing purists who are all like, oh, UFC is a joke. It's like, okay, if you want to play this, cross sport platform, McGregor stepped in the ring with Mayweather. There was no exhibition there. They were fighting. They were both getting paid a lot of money, but
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather did not want to be, he didn't want to have a loss on his record.
Right.
And that to me proved how much of a joke boxing is because Mayweather, in my opinion, he definitely lost the first round. And I think because he didn't even throw a punch in the first round, I think. He just sat there. And one of the judges, after the fight was over, had Mayweather win the first 7 rounds. And I think I had it pretty close to split at the time. And I even thought the fight was stopped early because I think the first chance they got to, stop the fight and give Floyd the win, they were going to do that. Connor's notorious, no pun intended, there's his nickname. He gasses out and he has a second win. He just does. He looks tired. He comes back. That's just the way he fights. These boxing guys need to chill the fuck out. They really do. And they need to stop calling out UFC guys because I'm going to put Conor McGregor on the bench and let's put, what did Jake Paul fight at? 180, 170?
No, I
No,
think
he's
it was
a lot bigger. I don't even think there was a weight class involved.
I don't think so. Well, it was a sanctioned fight, so there had to have been a weight class involved.
You can fight at catch weight.
Yeah,
I think that they said he walks around at 220.
Him and Nate Robinson they've had
they've
for
had
years.
yeah.
But
He's way bigger than Robinson.
Okay, so if he's 220,
Walking weight, I don't know what he fights at. I
Let's
assume
say-
200 then.
okay, so he's still a heavyweight. Well, he used to be a light heavyweight. I can think of a few guys in UFC no one's ever heard of in the boxing world that would starch that kid in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
Just boxing.
right, but that's how he makes his money, right?
No, he makes his money on YouTube being an asshole.
Right,
He
and getting clicks and
yeah,
everything else.
but
So
like
that's
Russ
how
said, he sure I'll give him credit. He's training boxing. But dude, that's like me winning the club championship and calling everybody out on the PGA Tour to come play me for $1 million. Like it's the dumbest thing in the world.
Yeah, I mean the kid has found, he and his brother have found this little niche where they're making money, and
Yeah.
so yeah, I agree with you. They're getting rich and famous off of this, but to think they're legitimate fighters right now and call out these UFC fighters is a joke.
Silly.
I mean, I saw half the tweets you like pop up on my timeline. So I saw that you liked Portnoy's tweet before we had this conversation. And Portnoy said that he thinks Jake Paul and Conor McGregor would be a closer matchup than McGregor Mayweather.
Not a chance.
And the only reason I think Portnoy said that is because he wants some skin in this game somehow to make money.
Yeah.
There's no way he really believes that.
And the fight's not going to happen.
No.
And the biggest reason is Jake Paul. He might have a following, like the YouTube, the millennials of the world or whatever. Conor McGregor's not going to entertain that peasant in his world.
Right.
Because that's exactly what he is in Conor's world.
Yeah.
And Conor doesn't need to fight some YouTube douchebag to make money. The kid's going to be a billionaire just from whiskey sales.
Yeah.
I mean, if he needed money to fight, he'd fight in UFC and he'd fight for belts. He doesn't. He's purely. You're calling out Conor McGregor, who's fought just stone cold savages and just knocked him out cold. And some of these guys that Conor's knocked out have come back and had pretty good careers the last 3 or 4 years. Someone like Dustin Poirier, like Eddie Alvarez, Justin Gaethje.
Yes.
Would you like to see them? I want to see a fight. I'm going to put Conor on the bench. I'll let him call the fight. I'll give him a microphone. And you pick one of those 3 guys to fight Jake Paul, whom he probably outweighs by 20, 30 pounds. They'd murder the kid. I don't think he realizes how good these guys are. And like Russ said, Conor, it might be the most precise striker we've ever seen in the UFC. He is that good. Yeah. He can be an asshole. He's done some really dumb shit. But that guy's spot on. He's precise. He becomes obsessed with what he's doing. And that's why he's as good as he is, and that's why he's made a lot of money. He's also made a lot of money in his mouth. Something also he's done better than Jake Paul. Just my personal opinion.
There's a line of NHL players that are calling him out too. Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Evander Kane.
Evander Kane's the one that has the most traction right now. So it's Robin Leonard called him out.
You mean to fight?
Yeah.
Evander Kane gave him a date. He said like August 31st, 2021.
Yeah. And Evander is known for his fighting skill in the NHL, and a lot of these fighters in the NHL train boxing in the offseason to stay in shape and to hone their fighting skills.
Stay in shape, yeah.
Milan Lucic was known for that as a kid. He was he was some, I don't know, youth something or other boxing champion, and he happens to be one of the best heavyweight fighters in the NHL has ever seen. And then Max Domi called him out today too.
Oh, really?
Called him a clown, and he just needs to said just shut up, clown.
I would love
to.
I would love to see Kane.
I would like to see the Evander Kane, Jake Paul.
I get Jake Paul is trying to make a name. He's using Conor McGregor's name to some notoriety to another group of people who don't really follow Jake Paul.
Yes,
that's what he's doing. To actually think that there's a chance that fight will happen, first it'll never happen because McGregor will never entertain it. It ain't worth his time. Yeah. And I don't think Jake. This proves how much of an idiot it is. Dude, there's a lot of guys outside of Conor McGregor, low tier, unheard of, unranked guys in UFC that would take that boxing match and just starch that kid in the middle of the ring. He has no idea, and he's way out of his league right now.
You take that. We've talked about a couple episodes, that Chaos Williams, who was on the Contender Series a couple weeks ago in the UFC. Guy I'd never even heard of, and he went in there and looked like he could take out any boxer in the world. That's a prime example.
Jake Paul wants to fight heavyweight. I'll take Stipe or Nagano. You can pick. And
they would literally kill him
while you're watching the fight. I'll plan the funeral. He's just that's how stupid he is.
You can't plan a funeral that quick.
Yeah, you announce the date. I'll start it then before the fight. It's so stupid. I get what he's trying to do, but it's like, dude, if you really truly, you got your money, got your clicks from YouTube and doing whatever it is you and your brother do. If you truly wanted to become a boxer and a fighter, then like Russ said, start fighting legitimate fights. Don't call yourself professional. Dude, he's professional. He made his professional debut fighting another YouTuber. Come on, man. Yeah. Don't call yourself a professional fighter. That's an insult to guys who've put in actual grind for 20 years, and the Tyson Furies of the world who have 21 professional fights. Yeah. And then the whole Tyson Fury thing, what pisses me off about that is everyone talks about how Deontay Wilder was the man. This is how much a joke boxing is. Wilder blamed his loss on the bullshit suit he wore to the ring, how it killed his legs. That's why you lost the fight? I was going to go with you just got your ass kicked.
That's probably why Cam Newton's struggling this year.
Putting on his fancy outfits for his press conferences.
Oh my God. Did you see the one he wore a week or two ago?
Oh, yeah.
The rug poncho with
Brutal.
the rug poncho with the women's heels.
I don't. Sure.
I'll send you that one.
Kyle's a fashion expert.
No. You don't have to be an expert to know what a rug looks like. I'm just throwing that out there.
Oh my God.
Thanks for taking me down that rabbit hole.
Glad we went there.
Yeah. Just,
See that asshat LeBron signed for $85 million.
I was going to ask you how you feel about that.
How crazy.
I think he's making room for Davis to make more money or to get the sign to make space.
Make more money? He's making more money.
Yeah, but then they like restructure it though and like spread it out because
At 2 years, $85 million?
They called it a super max. There's no way
Yeah.
he
I don't know how you.
I thought they spread out the contract over like 3 years.
It's like 2 years, $85 million. Oh,
2
maybe
years.
they did it that. I don't know, but he's getting 2 years, $85 million.
Even if you spread 85 over 3, that's not really spreading it out. I don't know.
I think it's. I think they, and I think
I know
potentially
what
we've
he's doing.
talked about this. Is he trying to get it until his son
Yes.
comes in the league?
Yes.
It's got to be
He's
it.
trying to play until his son can get drafted and they can play a year together.
Jesus Christ.
Lakers. What's he gonna do? Like collapse until Lakers get the first overall pick? Like
Yeah, that's the part I don't know how this works. So if that happens, whatever year he can
he's
be
like
drafted.
Bronny, just suck next year.
Yeah.
So he can take you at like 29.
If I have a draft pick ahead of the Lakers, I'm clearly taking him.
Right.
And then, hey, you want him, sure, but you're going to
I also,
trade half your organization to get him.
so I also don't. I'd have to do some research. I don't want some clown to come in our comments and attack me. I also don't know how good his kid is. Like I know
I
he
think
plays
he's
all.
like decent.
I think he's decent. He plays a lot of the prep schools, but that's because your
He
dad.
played with that Sierra Canyon, who's got. I think they had like 3 kids in the top, like 20 of the ESPN.
But if your dad's
freshman
LeBron
this year.
James is paying for you to go to Sierra Canyon, right?
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, the school's good. I think they're
Yeah.
always.
they had
I
like
think-
they had Kenyon Martin's son for a while.
Yeah.
They had a couple other guys, but I think I did see like a highlight. He played like a week ago. He like 6 points.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how good he is. Like
I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, it'll be interesting. And I don't know if he's said where he's going to school or anything, college.
I think he's going to Duke.
Oh really?
I saw a video of him. He likes to play video games, stream. I saw a YouTube video pop up where he had a Duke hoodie on. He made like a comment like, "Oh, I'm committed to Duke. Who gives a shit?" or something like that. I'm like, it wouldn't surprise me because the whole Coach K, Olympics, LeBron relationship. So, wouldn't shock me. LeBron always said if he went to college, he would have went to Duke.
So I've heard the opposite.
You think he went to North Carolina?
I've heard North Carolina.
So I was
I think, and then there was also obviously a debate with Ohio State. So I don't know
Yeah.
if it really was ever.
it's true too because he's from there. But either way, LeBron or Russ has got his boy for a few more years.
That's right. 2024.
My God.
You guys want to get into stars? What we have left for stars?
Yeah.
I'll start. I already mentioned my third star in Tyreek Hill. My second star is Jarrett Patterson from UB. Did you have him?
I got him as my first.
We're going to have a bunch of repeats in our stars.
Okay, because you sent me a text and don't steal my stars, but he was not on your list.
He was. It said J-E-R Patterson at the top.
Okay, well, I didn't open it all the way. Anyway, 36 carries, 409 yards, 8 touchdowns, and the coach should be slapped in the face because
Yes.
someone should have mentioned to him, how do you not realize he's close to a record?
So
Someone should have mentioned him, or he should have said, damn, what is the record for D1 rush and touchdowns and yards? Because he was like 23 yards away and they pulled him out
especially
of the game.
since like the week prior he ran for 320 or whatever he ran for the week prior. Like
Yeah, that's the
how's like no one looked up what
That's-
he's done or what
that's
that
the
is.
crazy part. As much as he went off that week, his 2-week stretch is like historic.
Yeah.
It's
Ridiculous.
So
almost
he-
the second week in a row doing it.
Yeah, so adding a couple things. So he was 18 yards shy of the NCAA record,
Yeah.
which is P. Ryan from Oklahoma did it like 6 years ago. And he tied the NCAA record for 8 touchdowns in a game. 9 was a record. Their other running back, I don't know what his exact stats were.
97 yards, 2
and
touchdowns.
He had 2 touchdowns.
So the minute they pulled him out, the backup ran for another touchdown.
Yeah.
If they would have just stayed in the game and let him run,
Because
he would've
I think even
broke all the
so, the
records.
announcers. I don't know if you guys were still
Yeah.
watching. The announcer was like, UB got the ball at like the 44,
He's like,
and
"Take
he
a
needed
penalty."
like 41 yard. He needed like 41 yards for the record. So he gets down there. As soon as he got over 400, they pulled him. But he's like, then the backup ran one like couple of yards, and he goes, "No, get a holding penalty and bring the other kid back in." Like he wanted the record. He's like, "I want to be like I was here.
I was here.
I wanted to see it." But it was crazy. And so I did have another. So he's only played 4 games this year. He is 5th in the NCAA in rushing yards and 2nd in rushing touchdowns, and he's 53rd in carries. That's how.
So to add to your
Stats
stat,
he's
during
putting
that
up.
game, they made a comment about the backup. I can't remember the kid's name who had.
Marks, I think is his last name.
Yeah, he's still like top 70 in Division I football
he's
in
like
yards
a stud
as a backup.
The backup running back's like he was like highly recruited.
No.
Not
so-
bad running game going up there in the MAC action.
Dude, I'll be interested if he's got to get some Heisman votes as well as he's playing right now.
Yeah.
I know he's only going to play 6 games, but it's probably more than Justin Fields is going to play. But it's all said and done.
That's a really good point. I'm curious if it will because he's just
Right, Lawrence is only going to play, 7 games?
He's in the MAC. Is it? You know what I mean? We're going to find out how political college football is right now.
Yeah.
Like you don't go to the
And
Power
obviously
5.
there's talk, and it's something I texted you earlier, potential topic, but Ohio State's big talks right now because they've only played 3 or 4 games, but the Big Ten put a clause in it. They had to play a certain number of games to play in the Big Ten title game. Ohio State, if they don't play this week, they won't get there. So can the NCAA, if they don't play in that Big Ten title game, can they even put them in the college football playoff, even though they're probably – yeah, and that's my
opinion.
I don't think you can, but, right, if you look at college football, they're probably one of the best 4 teams in college football. Yeah. So
there's also some rumors out there. I don't know if you guys seen any tweets or things going on, but some rumors out there. There's some good claiming COVID scare
to
or
rest.
No, they're claiming they're using COVID as an excuse. Like we have COVID concerns, not actual issues, like COVID concerns to avoid taking an ass whooping potentially or losing a game. That's what I've heard. I've heard that from multiple people who are, I would say, reliable sources. They've tweeted about it and said, this person's not the only one. I'm also hearing it, that teams are using it as an excuse to, like, not play another team. So, which, real quick, before we go on to the Stars, today I heard that the, who's the guy that coaches basketball at West Virginia? Huggins, yeah. Did you hear this story? Apparently, I'm guessing whoever they're supposed to play didn't play. And Tennessee decided to shut down theirs because they had concerns.
Yeah.
And they were supposed to play, I don't know, whoever Tennessee was supposed to play. And Huggins, called ESPN and got in touch with the powers that be and said, we'll play him. So West Virginia's playing.
That they just played Gonzaga. I think that's who it was
That's who he
supposed to
said. Yeah, we'll play him.
be. Yeah. So, and Gonzaga ended up winning the game by 4 or 5. But,
yeah,
a lot of teams have been stepping because, Tennessee hasn't played a game yet. And I don't think there's any signs of them, playing. And they were I think they were 10 or 12 to start the year, so they were highly ranked.
Yeah. This goes back to you're on a team, you're in a bubble. Like, you should just be being careful more so than a common person like you or I. So if you're testing positive or you're having issues, you're just being irresponsible.
And Tennessee's shut down football's not playing. They've shut down all their fall sports. So,
all right, you can't yawn if you're on camera. What the French toast?
I didn't mean it.
He forgot.
It just happened.
Forgot.
All right, that's my second star. So
He's my first star also.
He's my first
Jared
star.
Patterson.
My third star is Sarah Fuller.
My third
kicker
star also.
Kicker for Vanderbilt. She didn't get to attempt a field goal because Vanderbilt sucks. But she kicked off, start second half, and I did read she is kicking again this week.
Yep.
So hopefully she gets a chance to actually kick a field goal.
Yep. And gave a pep talk at halftime right out of the gate. I mean, if you walk into a broken organization, I don't blame her for biting her tongue.
She's 7-2 in soccer this year as a goalie.
And
so
what's the football 0-7 or 0-8 or something
I don't know
like that?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I read that. I think what you sent. She said she walked in the locker room at halftime and was like, I mean, she's familiar with being on a team, and just was like, you guys are just not a team.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I think this was a great story. She's also my third star of the week. But how does a football team not have somebody that could just kick a football?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, how do you not have – you obviously got a punter on the team, or even somebody that's athletic, usually like corners or wide receivers.
And Vanderbilt punts a lot, so they definitely got a punter.
Right. How can one of those guys not just put the ball in the tee and do kickoffs?
Yeah, I don't know.
Field goals, I know, are a little bit trickier. But How do you not just have somebody else on?
And
the
to
team
me,
that
it's got to
has
be
that skill?
for her. And I don't. Maybe not. Maybe soccer players practice with a football because you got to be more accurate on where you kick it. But obviously, a round ball versus something that's more pointed
Yeah, it's
would feel different.
It's a different animal.
But yeah.
McAfee broke it down. He's like, whoever held the ball for didn't do it right. He was like,
I also don't like that they called her to do a squib kick. Like,
Right.
let her show off.
That's her
let her show
highlight,
off a little
yeah.
bit. You know,
speaking of showing off, did you see the video she posted floating around Twitter where she had the goal kick in a soccer game?
Yeah.
She literally booted it to like the penalty area of the other.
She almost scored.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, if they
She's-
called a squib kick, screw you, coach. I'm kicking this thing as far as I can.
Yeah.
Just for
Kicking
the
it
hell
into the
of
fifth row.
I assume if they're that bad, they're probably getting their asses kicked at halftime, anyways, right?
I don't even know what the score was. I don't know what it
So,
ended up. It ended up being like 28-0 or 31-0.
Yeah.
I think was the final. But
So they were probably down 14
Yeah.
at least at
Oh,
that
yeah.
point.
Maybe they need to find more people on the soccer team.
Just let her show off.
Right.
maybe they will this week. Hopefully,
Good
maybe
story.
maybe she can like
Yeah,
kick
good
to start
story.
the game off.
Good story nonetheless.
My first star of the week is, well, do you have stars?
We already did them. Jared Patterson, Sarah Fuller, and Tyreek Hill, I mentioned.
My first star of the week, Adam's going to hate Matt Coleman from Texas. Sorry, man. Kid played rock solid.
He played solid all tournament.
14. He averaged 14 points. It's the first 3 games are 3-0, and he hit the game winner today with .01 seconds left on the clock. So to win the Maui Invitational. So that's my first star of the week.
Everybody better be lucky. Carolina's won the Maui Invitational 3 times in those same 3 years. They won the national title. Just so you know. So, but then say on watch
Which planet were they on?
Mars,
Mount Mars or something?
Mount Mars.
Olympus Mons.
Gotcha.
All right, buddy. How's your first night on camera?
Nerve wracking.
No.
No. My first star, or I'll split it in half kind of, because one of them is both a star and a dud, and you'll understand why. Mike Tyson gets my star of the week. We might have not liked the fight, but you can't say we didn't pre-warn you. We sat here last week and said, don't expect anything big. Wait for the highlights. And the funny thing is we're 4 or 5 days at least out of it now. There aren't even any highlights to watch. There was no headshots, only body shots, and it was a gentleman's draw. Even though Vegas is taking bets and has odds on it, it's a gentleman's draw,
I would have put money on the draw.
Yeah.
which is why my dud of the week is anybody that paid for said fight instead of taking our advice. If you take our advice, not only do you make money, but you save money. You wouldn't have had to watch that, because the only thing worth watching was the Jake Paul highlight, in my opinion. But the other half of my dud goes to Jones Jr. I mean, you've had how long to get ready for this fight? Presumably one of the biggest fights of your life. Do you know where I'm going with this?
No, but I was to add to that. Isn't he only like 3 years retired or something?
Yeah. It's like 2016, I
Yeah.
think, is when he retired.
Yeah.
He's a little flabby, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You had how many
I didn't
weeks
see,
you
like,
couldn't
pictures or
you
anything.
couldn't diet or do some cardio? I know it was.
I heard he was
shorter
like
rounds.
I
It
heard he was
only-
like breathing heavy.
It
Maybe
was only
Tyson
2
said
minute
some
rounds
weed.
with 1 minute in between.
Munchies.
But my God, he was gassed out right out of the gate, and it's only body shots.
Right.
Dud. You're on the biggest platform of your life. I mean, I know he's had a successful career, but
Was it only
he-
body shots?
Yeah, there's no headshots.
yeah.
I mean, I knew it was supposed to be like just an
the
exhibition.
post round interview, the first thing he says is, "Man, those body shots looked heavy from Tyson."
Jesus.
Like, yeah, that's because that's all there was, dude.
I would have put a lot of money in the draw, and he should have.
Wasn't even a sanctioned fight.
It technically was because the athletic commission has to allow it. It was in California, so
Can they? Bright idea just popped into my head. Why can't the next fight be Mike Tyson in a real fight with Jake Paul?
because I don't want Jake Paul to die.
All right.
I think Tyson would start him too. 50-year-old Tyson would put that kid.
Oh, he's still a killer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I actually feel better. Thanks for bringing up the Jake Paul thing. I was getting so pissed reading shit. Just, dude, you're trying to outkick your coverage and picking outside your league.
Just keep letting this frustration boil, because one day when he does finally find someone to take that fight and he's laying flat on the mat, you'll have your day. You'll have your moment to stand up and look around
Not
and
worried.
say, "I told you."
I'm not worried about having that moment. But hey, if you want an equivalent, it's like the first time you got laid. After you got laid, you like DM'd like Jennifer Aniston and be like, "Hey, I'm experienced. You want to do this?"
And he was laying flat on his
Yeah.
face.
That's what the equivalent it is. I just beat 2 YouTubers and a retired NBA point guard. Give me McGregor. Like, no. Go home, sit down, do whatever it is you do. stop calling out people who are actually fighters. Yeah. All right, gentlemen, anything else?
I'll let you guys know when Walton's announcing the next game. I'll figure that out for you guys.
Sure that you do.
Let me know and I'll fire up Netflix.
All right, gentlemen, until next time.